This video is sponsored by World of Warships. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the F-16D Fighting Falcon by Hobbymaster. And this is in 1/72 scale. It is die-cast, and this version is the Block 52 variant and the Pakistani Air Force 2017 paint scheme. And it does have conformal fuel tanks. It doesn't show in this picture, but you'll see in the unboxing in a little bit. I'm excited to get into the Hobbymaster line because they have a lot of die-cast models and different versions of each model. So yeah, let's get to the unboxing. First, let me tell you real quick about today's video sponsor. In World of Warships, you can join over 44 million players on PC for free and take part in team-based sea battles that require different strategies and tactics. You can even play with your friends in divisions. There is a huge selection of over 400 historical ships that you can customize and sail through amazing maps, including stunning weather and changing landscapes. You can choose from 5 different classes of destroyers, battleships, cruisers, aircraft carriers, and even submarines. There are new events and missions added frequently. Previous events included Godzilla vs. Kong, where you could have Godzilla on your ship or even Kong as your commander. Other events include Azure Lane and even battle giant monsters from Big Hunt. To play, download World of Warships using the link in the video description below. And to be honest with you guys, I play this game and I love it. I definitely recommend it. Use a promo code BOOM to get for free 200 doubloons, 2 ships, the St. Louis and premium ship Emden, 20x Restless Fire Camouflage, 2.5 million credits, and 7 days of premium account for free. Okay, let's get back to the video. So to open the box, you have a little tab here on the back. You just pop that out like this, and it'll slide open. And it does give you a little information here, saying when you open up, when you take the plane out of the box, you'll see here, the plastic housing has little tabs that you have to pinch in. So inside the box itself, just have a little background there. You do have instructions. General assembly just kind of shows you all the little pieces like the landing gear. You can put them in the landing up position, landing gear up position, or landing gear down position. So it gives you those options. And then also like the bombs, the missiles, and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get to that in a little bit. And then as far as the actual items in the box, you can see some of them displayed on top. And then on the back, you have the base. And then you have some of the weapons and pylons here. So in this next package, we have the base. And it comes in 3 pieces. And it has this little tool here if you want to get out the landing gear. If you have the cover on it and you want to take it out, it has this little hook so you don't scratch the model, which is nice. But here's what the base looks like. It says Hobbymaster on there, and this is the Air Power series. And I'll show you how to assemble this in a little bit. So the last bag just has the accessories, like the pylons, the external drop tanks, and the extra pilot. So here's everything that came in the box. And be careful when you're opening these models because there's a lot of small pieces like this. I'm not sure what that is yet, but it's super small, so just a little heads up. So we're going to start with the landing gear first, and I'm going to go ahead and have the landing gear in the extended position. It'll just be a lot easier for me to review the model and install the rest of the pylons and the weapons, but the details in this look pretty good. You can see there's even detail behind the doors here. And then for the front landing gear, same thing. Behind the door, they also have some detail. And so to install it, on the bottom here, you have this little slot, and then you have a tab right there. And so you just push it on. And it does go into place pretty well. It doesn't feel like it's just gonna pop out. And for the front landing gear, you just pop it in as well. And it actually sits pretty flush with the fuselage. Okay, so next we're gonna install the AIM-9 sidewinders. And it already comes with sparrows attached to the wingtips. You can't change these out, these are permanent. And in the real F-16, they would do that, I think, to help with the wing flex because of the weight of the missiles on the outside were heavier. So to install them, you take this little tab here and slide it in there so the hard point actually pushes on. You can't remove the sidewinders from the hard point either. And you just pop it on like that. Same thing with the other side. And there we go. Okay, so next we're going to install the laser guided bombs. I believe these are GBU-16s. I could be wrong, but looking at the size, that's what they look like. And they only mount right here on the second pylon. You can see this third pylon's a little longer, and it won't fit that tab. So to get them on, it's the same thing. You just push them on. And the hard point goes in pretty easy. Same thing with the other side. There you go. If you're going to install laser guided bombs, you're going to need a targeting pod. And this is actually a sniper pod. It's similar to the lightning pod, but it actually has really, really good technology and clarity. And what it does is just pop on. There's a little hole right there, as you can see, and it just pops on right next to the front landing gear. And if you're not familiar with the targeting pod, the purpose of the targeting pod is to actually guide missiles or bombs into the designated target. And the pilot could lock on to the target inside the cockpit. He had an MFD, which is basically like a little TV screen that he could look at with cameras that were attached to the targeting pod here and a FLIR system. And basically what that would do is allow him to see what he was looking at the ground target far away, and he would be able to lock onto him and of course guide the rockets and the missiles in. Okay, next we're gonna go ahead and install the Mavericks. I'm not sure what version these are, but it does look like they have the optical system here, which basically was like its own camera. And the way you would lock the Mavericks was similar to the laser guided bombs. You could use the sniper pod. The good thing about the Mavericks versus the laser guided bombs is you could set it and forget it. I don't know if you know that reference. If you do, let me know in the comments. But anyways, so the laser guided bombs, you had to stay on target. Unlike the Mavericks, you could literally lock the target and then it would automatically set it in the seeker head and you could leave. You can get out of the area. So good for run and gun. Now, if you'd rather have drop tanks instead of the Mavericks, you can just take out the Mavericks like that. And then of course you have these two drop tanks that would only fit in this slot here in the third pylon. And you would just push them on the exact same way. Like that. Same thing with the other side. So if you want the drop tanks on there, you have that option. So it did come with a center drop tank as well. Now the thing about this one is you can only install the center drop tank if you have the landing gear extended like this. Because you can see right here you have a little slot. And then the other one for the landing gear up, that door doesn't have the slot. I'll show you how to install that in a little bit. So you can only do this with the landing gear extended. But what you do is you take that tab, just like every other one, and you just pop it in like this. And there you go. So you could have the option to have all three drop tanks installed. Okay, so before I install the pilots, I'll show you how to do the canopy. And with the canopy, you just lift it up like this, and you're gonna wanna slide it that way forward. As you can see there, it'll kind of lift up and then it'll stay up in place like that. Okay, so here's a better cockpit view. You can kind of see some of the controls in there. You can see the stick there. And on the other side, does not have a throttle, which is kind of disappointing, but it's so small you can't really tell. And you can see the HUD right there. So both the pilots are the exact same. There's nothing different, but they are pretty detailed. I mean, for being the 172 scale, you can see their helmet, their oxygen mask, even their gloves. So definitely impressed by the pilots. And we'll start with the pilot in the rear seat. So you just put them in like that. They don't lock in place, so you kind of have to wiggle it. Okay, and I actually ended up using this little tool to get them down in there because it's kind of hard to get. Then with the front seat, it's a lot easier because you have better access. The canopy's not in the way. You just set them in like that. And to close the canopy, you just push it down, you slide it back that way, and you lock it in place like that. So I did want to show you real quick what it looks like with the landing gear in the retracted position. You have this little tab here that lines up with that slot. Same thing with the landing gear and the extended. And then you just push it down. And you can see right here, these line up. These lines line up like that. And then with the front landing gear, kind of wiggle it out. Careful with that one when you do it. And then there's only one way this will go. Now, the thing about it is if you do it in this position, like I said, you can't have the center drop tank. There's no way for you to put it because there's no slot. So just bear in mind, if you want the center drop tank, you will have to have the landing gear extended. And then this is why the tool comes in handy. So as you can see right here, if you try to pull this out, you're gonna have a hard time. Same with that, it's flat. But you do have a little slot right there. And this tool has a little hook. So what you do is just kind of stick it in and you just pry it open like that. Looks really good. And next I'll show you what it looks like on the base with the landing gear retracted as well. And then also for this back little slot here, so this is, I realized what this was. It comes with this little plug. And this little plug is actually designed if you don't want to install the stand, because the stand's gonna actually go right there. It's gonna lock into place right there. But you can put this little plug in there if you wanna leave it without the stand, so you don't have that hole. Okay, so to install the stand, it's pretty easy. You just have three pieces. You have this little slot here and this tab, and you just angle it back and then kind of push it forward, and then the tab will lock in. This little part will lock in with the base. And then for the top part, this is the hole I was showing you on the underside of the F-16 where you have that cap. Well, when you remove the cap, this slits into that spot. And then so for the bottom here, you just push it on like that, and that locks in place. Okay, so the base does also kind of wrap around the bottom of the fuselage. So you take that little tab and you push it in like that, and there we go. Okay, so I wanted to show you, if you have the landing gear extended like this, you can't actually install the plane on the base or the stand, because when you put it on right here, the doors get in the way. The stand actually needs to wrap around the fuselage there. So just a heads up. Okay, so I could not figure out where these little pieces go. I mean, they're obviously supposed to go somewhere. They were included and bagged up. But the only thing I can think of is maybe if you put the landing gear in the down position, then maybe the little tabs they have, it's supposed to allow you to feel like right here, this little gap. Maybe you push it in and fill that gap if you want it filled. All right, so that about does it for the F-16 by Hobbymaster. If you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. I have a lot of other video reviews of military vehicles, 1/18 scale, 1/72 scale, 1/32 scale. So go ahead and check them out and let me know what you think.